First of all, you're not alone when clutter builds up quickly, and it's easy to do nothing and freeze when you're feeling overwhelmed. Have you ever walked into a space, looked around at everything, the chaos, and asked yourself, where am I even? The good news is that you don't have to handle everything at once today. At the end, you'll feel lighter, more in control, and finally freed from the grip that holds you back. You'll also learn 9 simple ways to get rid of the trash without the stress. Joyce, a 72-year-old retiree who likes to have a cup of tea in the mornings and enjoys a quiet life, has been feeling trapped lately. She has lived in her home for 30 years, and it is crammed with stacks of papers, materials, and clothes she hasn't worn in a long time. She planned to sift through years' worth of boxes, but she feels overloaded and has failed every time she has tried to start organizing. Despite the fact that it seems familiar, Joyce has a twist. She doesn't want to spend all of her time in her packed house. Rather, she discovers a method that makes decluttering quick and easy. The key, along with a little enjoyment, is that getting rid of everything is not the aim. It's important to know just where to begin. The 7th step is the one that changes everything. There's no other method to keep clutter from ever building up again. Thus, follow it, since if you don't, that will happen. Has a mountain of clutter ever made you feel constrained? Together, let's clear out that like button. For more direct guidance like this, subscribe now if you want to live a longer life. Let's work together to make your house a serene haven. One small action starts the first step towards liberation. Have you ever looked into a cluttered space and thought, I couldn't even start? Joyce believed she would enter her house in that exact manner. Everywhere you look are piles of old periodicals, unopened mail, and other objects. Clutter and trinkets fill every surface. Instead of cleaning, she would sigh and walk away, leaving the problem to someone else. This day may seem familiar, but let's be honest. Trying to complete everything at once is the easiest way to give up before you've even begun. Getting started small is crucial. In the end, Joyce decided to begin modestly. She didn't try to get rid of her entire living room at once, or spend all of her money cleaning out her wardrobe. It just took her 5 minutes to clean a kitchen drawer, which was the only straightforward object she chose to clean. She threw away the expired coupons and organized the ones that were left. Unexpectedly, she discovered that her little victory made her feel accomplished. It was like a tiny spark of inspiration. Before realizing she had built momentum, she tackled another drawer the next day, then a small stack of papers. Gaining momentum and decluttering didn't feel as overwhelming now. Why does this endeavor succeed? Because your brain releases dopamine every time you complete a small job. It's the same chemical that gives you a great feeling. That is what gives you a sense of accomplishment as you cross things off your to-do list and motivates you to do more. First of all, cleaning a whole room is not necessary. Today, choose one small object from the entire house. One junk drawer full of trash, old mail on your table or nightstand, piled high with random items, or a small shelf in your closet are all excellent places to start. Win right now without pressure or worry. That drawer in the kitchen was Joyce's biggest litter hotspot. Which crowded spot in your life drives you crazy every time you see it? Post it in the space provided for comments below. Stay there and know that you're not alone in this. The following simple guideline will let you get rid of the obvious trash without hesitation. The obvious throw rule is the 2nd step. Have you ever picked up an old receipt, a restaurant's takeaway menu, or a broken pen from a restaurant that closed years ago, only to put it down again thinking, I might take care of this later? That's what a lot of us do. Let's meet George, a 68-year-old retired mechanic. George used to have a propensity to hoard things, not because he needed them, but rather because throwing them away felt like a decision he didn't want to make. He had so many trash drawers in his kitchen. His garage was a cemetery of everything he believed he might need in the future, and the counter was concealed among old documents. In actuality, however, several of those items were never required. They just collect. No decision is necessary. It is imperative to adhere to the obvious throw rule. Here's a small tip. Toss anything out quickly if you can tell it is garbage. Having second thoughts and asking yourself, what if I need this later? Trust your gut if it tells you it's garbage. George had enough one afternoon. He opened a drawer and found a pile of old takeaway menus, half of which were from places that had been closed for years. When he realized he hadn't even noticed they were there, he laughed. He threw them immediately rather than setting them down again. A spark was sparked by that tiny move. Then, without hesitation or regret, he threw out dried-up pens, mismatched socks, empty lotion bottles, and expired coupons. Freedom and a reduction in clutter came from letting go fast. You feel lighter as soon as you start discarding obvious waste. You feel as though a weight has been lifted from your shoulders. Imagine pulling out your drawer and seeing only the things you actually use, rather than a mess. Calmness descends. No agitation, no digging. Now take a 30-second break and watch. You see something that is obviously trash when you look around. Throw anything in the trash, whether it's a sock with a hole you've been meaning to fix, a stretched-out rubber in the fridge, or expired food. What is the strangest rubbish thing you have found in your home? The following step discusses one of the biggest clutter traps for seniors and how to avoid it. So leave a comment below and stay put. The 10-minute decluttering sprint is step 3. You've probably experienced the feeling that decluttering suddenly feels like a full-time job. The idea of sorting through mountains of stuff may be so daunting that it's easier to do nothing. Evelyn, a 72-year-old retired nurse, thought this was exactly how it was. She wanted a tidy home, but hated spending hours removing trash. She told herself that she would tackle it tomorrow instead of putting in long hours, but that day never came until she discovered the 10-minute decluttering method. Why does everything change in 10 minutes? The good news is that decluttering doesn't have to be an all-out task. Set a timer for 10 minutes and work as fast as you can. You accomplish the amazing feat of putting your thoughts into action without fear or anxiety. Procrastination itself is broken. Instead of staring at the chaos and wondering where to begin, you create a noticeable improvement and take joy in it. Evelyn started by setting a 10-minute timer and then just groped for things, taking an old shopping bag and discarding old invoices, unwanted mail, and spices. She had already packed her bags when the timer went off. She was burnout-free, clutter-free, and only mildly worn out from the quick labor. Using the 10-minute timer on your phone, pick one little location, such as a small section of your bedside table, a pile of papers, or the kitchen cupboard, and clean up as fast as you can. Stop the timer as soon as it stops beeping. The best part is that you can always do something else later if you feel okay. You've already won, though, even if you don't. What is your goal for the next 10 minutes? Which area are you going to start with? I'll give you 10 minutes to complete your declutter sprint. Please let us know in the comments and return often. We'll then go over what to do if you're struggling to decide what to keep and what to throw away. Step 4's 3-second rule aids in decision-making. From the back of your closet, you retrieve an old jumper. Even though you haven't worn it in years, questions start to surface the moment you think of throwing it out. Imagine dreading letting it go. You may say, I might wear it again someday, or it was a present. I would regret discarding it. You just replace it, therefore contributing to the mess once more. Ronald, a 70-year-old retired teacher who struggled to part with his possessions, experienced just this. His closet was overflowing, but every time he tried to organize it, he changed his mind. Old clothes, trinkets, and even broken gadgets were all he had on display. He was paralyzed by indecision until he learnt the 3-sec rule, which simplifies the decluttering process. The way it works is that you probably don't need the item if it takes you longer than 3 seconds to decide. To get the answer, you have to follow your gut. Hesitancy is a sign that you don't actually need it. Make decisions fast and with confidence. Don't overthink them. Clutter is reduced when hesitation is reduced. It's time to let go if you're clinging to anything just because you feel bad about throwing it away. When Ronald reached for that old jumper, he attempted this trick. Instead of fixing it, he gave it away because he knew he hadn't worn it in years and didn't plan to. He also donated kitchen appliances he had never used and publications he had never read. He knew that he had emptied an entire wardrobe, feeling just liberation and free of remorse or anxiety. Don't allow guilt to get you bogged down. People sometimes keep things because they regret it. Maybe it was a gift, maybe it was pricey, or maybe you feel you should keep it. In actuality, though, the present served its purpose when it brought you joy. You don't need to keep it forever. Keeping something you never use will be a waste of space. You won't get your money back. It's just taking up space if it doesn't add value to your life. Choose one item that has persisted for a very long time. If, after 3 seconds of hesitation, you decide it's time to let it go, do so. Please, let us know in the comments what you find to be the hardest item to let go of. We'll be talking about that next, so keep checking back. How to manage and stop clutter from coming back is one of the most frequent mistakes individuals make when decluttering. The fifth stage is the one-touch sorting system. Many people have started decluttering only to move things around in piles without actually getting rid of anything that is taking up space in their home. Introducing Alice, a 68-year-old grandmother who has spent years trying to get rid of her home. She made heaps of items that she might donate or keep after going through her possessions. Week after week, however, those mounds just sat there, dead. Nothing ever left the house after a week. She discovered the one-touch sorting system at that point. How does it operate? You make a decision the first time you come into contact with an item rather than constantly shifting things about. Arrange 3 boxes or bags. One for items you truly love or use, another for things you can donate that are in good condition, but no longer useful, and a third for trash, anything that are broken, outdated, or obsolete. No matter what, pick up an item and arrange it immediately without putting it off for later consideration. If in doubt, exercise caution and follow the 3-sec rule. Alice was so taken aback by the 4th Steps guideline that she started in her closet and actually threw away outdated items for the first time. The shoes went straight into the donation box. Bad-looking makeup was discarded. No more second-guessing or rearranging heaps. This quick and easy sorting prevents clutter and gets rid of procrastination. When you sit down and dedicate yourself to the assignment, you will make real progress. Things are quickly handled and taken out. It's fulfilling since you can see tangible benefits right away. Gather 3 boxes or bags from a cluttered area, such as a junk drawer, a closet shelf, the counter, or your kitchen. Sort everything once and touch everything once. When you're finished, let me know in the comments what you found the hardest to let go of. Get rid of it and stay put, because we'll talk about the one mindset shift that will make decluttering 10 times more effective next. Step 6 involves decluttering sentimental items. Some objects, like damaged gadgets, old newspapers, or expired coupons, are simple to discard without regret. What about the emotive aspects, though? Many people become hooked because these objects hold memories. George, a 72-year-old retired firefighter, was overtaken by sentimental junk. His shelves were piled high with souvenirs, and his drawers were overflowing. He would hesitate each time he picked up an old letter, a birthday card from his late wife, or something from his grandchildren, while attempting to declutter. How can I throw this away? He asked himself. George, however, found a straightforward method that changed everything. Save the memories instead of the clutter. In order to preserve priceless memories without the physical clutter, he started capturing pictures of precious objects before discarding them. He chose to save a few authentic treasures rather than an entire box of out-of-date goods. He kept his wedding ring, his wife's letter, and a baseball that his grandchild had signed, for instance. He had no misgivings about releasing everything else. When you let go without feeling bad, how do you forgive yourself? Because they think that discarding things equates to wiping out memories, many people suffer. In actuality, Love and meaning and memories are independent of material possessions. Everything would become meaningless if it were all kept. Only the items that are truly significant to you should be kept. New experiences are made possible by this. Getting rid of clutter makes it easier to enjoy the present and let go of the past. Try snapping a picture of a treasured item you've been holding on to. Then, consider whether you really need to keep the thing. Tell me in the comments which emotional item has been the hardest for you to part with. Next, we'll talk about ways to prevent clutter from returning, so be sure to check back. Step 7 is a straightforward practice that keeps clutter from building up again. The one in, one out rule. Eliminating items is not enough. You also need to keep clutter from coming back. The one in, one out rule is useful in this situation. Consider Linda, a 67-year-old retired teacher who tidied up her disorganized kitchen. After cleaning, she felt great. But a few months later, she saw that the cabinets were once again filled. What took place? She never got rid of anything, but she did gradually add new cups, dishes, and devices. She therefore made a straightforward adjustment. One old item had to be removed for every new one that was brought in. For example, you may give a friend a book to make place for a new one, donate a garment to make room for a new one, or drop off a coffee mug at the library for a new favorite. This easy practice prevents clutter before it starts and stops dust from building up. One day, Linda purchased a new coffee mug, but instead of simply adding it to her collection, she chose a broken mug that she no longer liked and gave it away. She became aware that her house was no longer becoming excessively messy after a few weeks of this behavior. This explains why the one in, one out rule is so effective at preventing clutter from re-entering. Your home will remain easily organized if you are careful with your acquisitions and disposals. Examine your surroundings and consider whether anything has recently been added. If so, choose one old thing to discard right away. Tell me what that one item might be in the comments section. We'll then go over the 5-minute daily reset, which is the easiest way to clear clutter without doing any work. The daily 5-minute reset is step 8. Maintaining order in your home doesn't need hours of cleaning. Even 5 minutes before bed can have a significant impact. Consider 70-year-old widower Robert, who would wake up annoyed because his reading glasses were lost, his keys were gone, and commonplace objects were buried under debris. He experimented with a quick 5-minute reset one evening. He just took 5 minutes to put things back where they belonged after setting a timer. Only a tiny area, such as the nightstand, coffee table, or kitchen counter, needed to be cleaned. No thorough cleaning was required. After a week, Robert realized that he was constantly aware of where things were, even though at first the 5 minutes didn't seem like enough. He woke up feeling less overwhelmed and more at ease, and his kitchen counters remained clear. By following this easy pattern, you may minimize annoyance from misplaced items, keep clutter from piling up again, and feel in control without feeling overwhelmed. See how much you can clean tonight by setting a timer for 5 minutes before bed. You'll be shocked at the impact it has. In the comments section, let me know what one item in your house constantly vanishes or becomes cluttered. Avoid allowing it to persist. The final stage will assist you in clearing your mind if you are still emotionally linked to clutter. The 9th step, mental decluttering, is equally as crucial as physical decluttering. Everything that weighs you down emotionally, such as unused bills, unworn clothing, or devices, is considered mental clutter. The more you cling to it, the heavier it feels, much like old luggage. This was the tale of Elena, a 72-year-old woman who couldn't part with the unneeded stuff that filled her home. She became aware that she was hoarding stuff either out of fear or guilt. She questioned herself one day, "Am I clinging to this because it makes me happy, or to prevent feeling guilty? Do you want me to breathe easier?" She became aware that she was holding on to unnecessary items. A house should be a tranquil setting rather than a historical museum. One item at a time, Elena started renting out storage containers. She was able to sit calmly in her clutter-free living room and felt lighter with every contribution. When she woke up, she was no longer overwhelmed and felt free all over. Memories are discovered in the moments that surround things, not in the objects themselves. You should feel comfortable, happy, and free in your house. Picture waking up in a house free of clutter and piles. No drawers overflowing with extraneous stuff. Simply serene and quiet. Now take a small step. Choose one item to let go of and see how it alters your environment and perspective. What is anything you've been holding on to that you're prepared to let go of? Tell me in the comments below. Keep in mind that decluttering doesn't have to be difficult. Let go of things that don't work for you, be consistent, and be small. Just because your house is bigger doesn't mean you need fewer items. Take immediate action, choose a tiny space, and clear for 10 minutes. Get rid of evident clutter, apply the no-brainer toss rule. Use the 5-minute daily reset to develop the habit of clearing up clutter. Please share this video with someone in need if you enjoyed it. Decluttering is a process rather than a competition. You gain confidence and momentum with each little step you take. Being kind to yourself and being consistent are crucial. Decluttering not only makes their living area better, but it also enhances their attitude and mental clarity, according to many seniors. Letting go of things that no longer serve you is liberating and makes space for new experiences and tranquility. Keep in mind that you don't have to do everything at once if you're feeling overburdened. Simply choose a tiny region, set a 10-minute timer, and concentrate on it. Honor every victory, no matter how small. Every action matters, whether it's organizing a shelf, getting rid of old papers, or cleaning out a junk drawer. These little actions add up to significant changes over time, changing both your home and your perspective. Don't forget to seek assistance when necessary. Decluttering can occasionally be made simpler and more pleasurable by working with a family member or trusted friend. Last but not least, remember that your house represents who you are today, not how you were decades ago. Allow your area to serve your present demands as well as your happiness and tranquility. We appreciate your participation in our quest for a more tranquil and lucid household. Please like, subscribe, and share your decluttering experiences in the comment section below if these suggestions were helpful to you. By working together, we can design houses that are spacious, bright, and peaceful.